What is your opinion and loyalty towards butter chicken and chicken tikka masala?
Actually, if you see, these are modern dishes. They are not Indian dishes, so to say.
Sure.
Tomatoes are not Indian. Portuguese brought it into it a little over 400 years ago. You add chilies to that. You add garlic to that. Again, not native to इंडिया अभी भी हमारे लोग सब क्या कर रहे होते हैं कि अब क्या खाना है, आज शाम को क्या खाना है, उससे एक घंटा पहले सोच रहे होते हैं.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
Right?
ये हमारा एक काम होता है शाम को.
हाँ, कि आज क्या खाएं. वेलिंगटन में जो सबसे पहला इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट way back in 1989, that is something that I worked there. I was the chef of that restaurant, and when I was here, the large population of Indians that was here was of Gujarati base at that time. I came here as a 25-year-old and I worked in Wellington.
Hi, good day. I'm Sandeep and you're watching The Indian Weekender. Today, we are privileged to be in conversation with a person whose name doesn't need much of introduction. He is a celebrity chef. He is India's brightest gastronomic star, a trailblazer chef who has galvanized India's cuisine all around the world and in India as well. He has been recently conferred with Padma Shri Award as well by Government of India, and no prizes in guessing that we are talking about Sanjeev Kapoor ji. So today he is in New Zealand and we are privileged to be in conversation with him. So welcome to our studio, Sanjeev ji. कैसे हैं आप? नमस्कार.
Namaskar, Kiora. Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Happy to be in conversation with you, and of course back in New Zealand, should I say, because this is a place which not just me but many people long to be in. जिससे भी कभी बात करो लोग कहते हैं अरे न्यूजीलैंड कितनी प्यारी जगह है. मैं कहता कितने अच्छे लोग हैं.
क्या बात है सर. So when you said back in, so were you here as a tourist before or?
Yes, I've been here as a tourist also.
Okay, so shall I go ahead and ask that what is your New Zealand connection? क्या आप यहाँ रहे हैं पहले या?
मैं रहा भी हूँ यहाँ पे. मैंने काम किया है कुछ साल.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when was that? Well, this is a revelation for us.
That was many moons ago. I came here as a 25-year-old and I worked in Wellington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wellington में जो सबसे पहला Indian restaurant way back in 1989. That is something that I worked there. I was the chef of that restaurant. And
right. Can we have the name of the restaurant today?
So it was called Shamiana.
Shamiana.
Okay. Was, Shamiana.
Well, I think a lot of Kiwi Indians and I think Indians and Kiwis as well, they would associate with this brand, and probably they would be as mesmerized as I am to know that Sanjeev ji, you have worked here as well. So walk us through a little bit more about that period of 2 years when you worked here.
Oh, it was something which I would say it was. New Zealand has always been mystical place for people all across, and when somebody comes from India, it's so far off. There was no computers, hardly any computers, no email, nothing. And when I came here, it was just like disowning your family, disowning everything, and moving here. But what I got here was a fantastic restaurant to work on. Very quickly, we became the best Indian restaurant of the country. People loved it, and yeah.
So have you ever lived in Auckland, which is the biggest city here in New Zealand?
That was in Wellington. I did visit Auckland back then. After that, I've been here. But those 2 years, it was more work.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But yes, as a tourist, I've lived in Auckland also. I've spent a few days. So yeah, I'm familiar.
Great, that's really great. Now that compels me to ask that it has been many moons ago, as you said. So you would have watched the food circle, the Indian food circle way back then, and I'm pretty sure you were keeping an eye as of now as well. So what is your assessment? How have things changed? How has Indian food circle evolved in those last 3 decades?
Right. I think overall it's grown really big all across the world, not just here. I think there's been more popularity, more respect for foods from different parts of India. At that time, when I was here, the large population of Indians that was here was of Gujarati base at that time, largely.
Sure.
And that too from Africa, from Uganda, from Kenya, all that, and of course Gujaratis from India. But over the years, what I have seen, people from northern part of India, they have come in, and that also is reflected in the food of New Zealand.
Sure.
Clearly, there's a big shift that's there. And other than that, I would say that it still remains the same when it comes to what it brings to the table in terms of the lazy pace that it has, the mystery and mystical, the overall character of the place. It still remains like that, and it's the nature,
Sure.
not just of what the scenery is, what the mountains are, what rivers are, but people also, they very kind, very fun-loving, adventurous
Surely it is.
people. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Now let's go back and talk more about food, which is probably synonymous to your name as well. So can we just get to know from you that what is your philosophy about the food, or what do you see in the food, and how do you relate to it?
So food cannot be over-intellectualized.
Sure.
Food has to be kept as natural as possible. But being a chef, you have to convert ingredients because that's your job. But best chef, according to me, is someone who does not need to work too much from ingredient. It should have the ability to bring out the best in ingredients without too much of effort. It has to be effortless. So people mistake that chefs are the ones who are artists, who are working on ingredients and creating something. Actually, more you work on something, it's not like diamond that you need to grind to shine. Ingredients in its natural form, they look the best, they smell the best, they taste the best. So we just have to probably peel a layer or two, and that's all we do.
That's great. So probably I'm pretty sure that that's your philosophy, and is that how you download it to your teams which work under you? Is that how?
Yeah, so I always say that cooking is something when you are working with edible ingredients, then you are involving few skills that you have, but there is a lot of emotion that goes into. There's a lot of energy that goes in, and it's not only the heat energy, it's the energy that you bring to those ingredients, and all that when you put together is when people eat that, they taste that, it's something which stays as a memory beyond your taste buds. So that's what we have to create. So that's why I say, when you're cooking, cook with a smile, cook with positivity, make sure that whatever is being done, it creates a memory of a lifetime.
Sure.
It should not be that you had a meal and you say, oh, it was nice, it was tasty. But if what you created, if it did not last as a memory, then job as a chef is not well done.
Okay. I'm pretty sure this is not over intellectualization. It is quite well said and it is well meant as well. So probably a lot of our budding chefs and budding food entrepreneurs who would be looking forward to any 2 cents from you probably, उनके लिए ये बहुत ही बड़ा रामबाण जो आपने यहाँ शेयर किया है. चलिए थोड़ा सा इसको हम और पर्सनलाइज करते हैं संजीव जी. Talking about I think we have received a lot of phone calls who said that whenever you get a chance to speak to Sanjeev ji, ask him this very important question: that what is your opinion and loyalty towards butter chicken and chicken tikka masala? Do you see they are the best Indian food export to the rest of the world?
Oh no. They are just 2 dishes.
Okay.
There's a whole repertoire of dishes, different dishes from all across the world, and there's just one style of representation. But what we have to offer from different parts of India, there is so much depth, there is so much of variety that's there that but what butter chicken and chicken tikka masala have done, they've opened the doors.
Sure.
But for other dishes, we are a coastal country with great produce, ingredients, blends. It's unique. It's very, very different. And let's look at butter chicken or chicken tikka masala. Actually, if you see, these are modern dishes. They are not Indian dishes, so to say.
Sure.
So if you look at butter chicken, the base of that is tomatoes.
Sure.
Tomatoes are not Indian. Portuguese brought it into it a little over 400 years ago. You add chilies to that. You add garlic to that. Again, not native to India.
Yeah.
So these are modern restaurant interpretation of one part of Indianness in food. But the range that we have, let's say from western coast or from south or from east or from northeast, it's
well, quite amazing. Quite well said. But the challenge is that how the rest of the world, primarily, say including Kiwis here as well in New Zealand, how they understand Indian cuisine is through the restaurants when they go out to eat over there. And the market dynamics is that most of the restaurants here in New Zealand, they end up specializing or serving only in butter chicken, and whenever there are very few which dare to experiment and try some new curries, as you've said, from the regional areas or from the vast cuisine that we produce, market doesn't support them, and then they again have to switch back to butter chicken. So what will be your advice to those restaurants here in New Zealand, that how they can experiment to bring more authentic Indian cuisines?
So I think the most important thing is to be bold and dare to be bold. Don't yield to pressures of market that much, because market will always want you to be predictable. But predictable effort brings in predictable results. If you want to shine and outshine, then you have to work with the unpredictable effort, which will yield unpredictable result. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. But then, when is success easy? Right? So the thing is that if you keep on doing same thing, you'll get similar result. It's predictable. So if you want your life to be predictable, go ahead and do it. I am no one to tell you that, okay, do this, don't do that. But higher chances of success, if you have the guts to stand out, chances of becoming outstanding are higher.
Great, quite well said, and very encouraging as well, probably to our budding food entrepreneurs here in New Zealand, who would have been lost in this dynamics of market. Probably it's a good I would say torchlight coming from Sanjeev Kapoor, none other than Sanjeev Kapoor. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about you continue to inspire generations of Indians. You continue to inspire Indians who are wanting to be a chef, or who are wanting to be a food entrepreneurs, who are wanting to be a television personality. So I want to know from you that what is biggest source of satisfaction for you? When you inspire somebody to become a chef, or you inspire somebody to become a food entrepreneur, or you inspire somebody to become a TV personality?
No, I don't think it's to do with what professional success a person has. I think when you do something and somebody tries to learn from what you do, that you work as a source of learning is the biggest satisfaction. Not that this learning took them where, but the fact that there was some learning, could be very small, need not be that okay they became successful or not, does not, but the fact that there is they're heeding to that voice, which over the years I would have in some sense I would have sharpened my learning, and I'm willing to share that. And if somebody is listening to that and willing to work on it, that itself is good enough for me. That itself motivates me to share more and more. So same way, my biggest satisfaction comes when people, after following me, they become leaders, and they leaders not just as leaders but as teachers also. Because when they inspire someone else, again with maybe something very small, that is the biggest learning, because then you are creating a bigger area of influence.
Right.
Because if it just left to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, then there's not much that you've been that not much you have achieved. So you talked about Padma Shri. So that was what, 5.5 years ago. I got that, and I would tell all the chefs, you know what? Now make sure that you keep on creating body of work which is worth recognizing by government of India. And 2017 when I got that, there were many chefs who would say, oh, अब तो line खुल गई है, अब तो हर साल कोई chef को मिल जाएगा. And I would say, no, it's not that easy. You have to make sure you keep on building on your body of work, and that's something you have to work on. It's not just cooking what you're doing in restaurant or on a plate, but your overall impact. So how many people did you feed? There's Assam floods. Did you feed any people there? What are you doing with your cooking skills? How big impact you are creating? Are you teaching more people? What you are doing? So now, last couple of years, there are few chefs who say, so now we get, when you said this, that no other chef has got after you have got. What is it that we are doing wrong? I said, go back to what I said then. I'm still saying the same thing. Make sure you create a larger impact with your knowledge, with your skill, whatever you have. It's not just the business. And that's when, within chefs of India, I'm happy that there are more chefs who are doing that now, and they would be recognized.
Perfect. Definitely they would be. Now, talking about other chefs, one of the questions I'm pretty sure you would have been asked many times, that who are the famous chef, not only in India, maybe around the world, whom you admire or maybe look forward to, or you just appreciate. कुछ नाम बताएंगे हमें आप?
There are hundreds of chefs, known and unknown. So not always somebody who is known is that you need to know. There are many unsung chefs, heroes who may be doing incredible job. So while in New Zealand, I like to know who are the trailblazing chefs who are bringing New Zealand food, New Zealand cuisine to the world, what they are showcasing. I would like to know more because I think I'd like to taste, when I'm here, I'd like to taste, get a taste of New Zealand.
Sure.
Right? So a batchmate of mine met me last night and he said कि चलो हम एक दिन आप घर पे आना, मैं खाना बनाऊँ? मैं कहा क्या खाना बनाएगा? नहीं आप जो बताएंगे इंडियन। मैं कहा विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट इंडियन खाना तो मैं इंडिया में बहुत अच्छा खाता हूँ, मुझे यहाँ पे लोकल खाना खाना है।
बिल्कुल।
सो आई सेड टेल मी 5 टॉप रेस्टोरेंट्स ऑफ न्यूजीलैंड सर्विंग न्यूजीलैंड फूड, बिकॉज मैं इंडिया से यहाँ पे इंडियन खाना तो नहीं आने है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल,
राइट। सो कमिंग टू शेफ्स, आई थिंक देयर इज एट वर्ल्ड लेवल न्यूजीलैंड के शेफ्स की जो स्पेस है वो एक तरह से वो पूरी जो वॉल है खाली है अभी देखा जाए तो।
ओके।
तो बहुत हो सकता है उसमें से कोई शेफ इंडिया से यहाँ पे आया हो जो अब यहाँ न्यूजीलैंड का हो गया है, शायद दे कैन डू very good work at global level. So I'm here as part of TAPA competition, which is यहाँ के काफ़ी लोग participate कर रहे हैं, and it's a great thing कि आप एक स्पेनिश कॉन्सेप्ट को न्यूजीलैंड के अंदर आप प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं और इंडिया से जज करने के लिए आ रहे हैं। सो वर्ल्ड इज बिकमिंग स्मॉलर। कमिंग टू शेफ्स फ्रॉम इंडिया, देयर आर many chefs who have done great work. कुछ लोग इंडिया से बाहर गए, अतुल कोचर यूके में गए, विनीत गए, विकास न्यूयॉर्क गए, इंडिया में रणवीर हैं, हरपाल, सो दे हैव डन good job with not only food but as promotion of Indian food. Also they have done good work.
No, that's great. That's great. Now, couple of last questions. I know that you are a very busy person and you've got a very busy timetable. So, सबसे पहले, when was the last time, or maybe if I may ask, that do you still cook in commercial restaurant environment, or you get to cook?
So, we run a few restaurants. करीब, I think we have about 65 restaurants all across the world. Actually, ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड में कोई नहीं है, बट
ये मेरा आखिरी क्वेश्चन होगा, आप न्यूजीलैंड में कब आ रहे हैं?
तो वो नहीं है यहाँ पे, बट वी हैव, सो वी डू इट बाय पॉकेट्स। सो इंडिया के अंदर हैं, नॉर्थ में काफ़ी हैं, लुधियाना में है, जलंधर में है, चंडीगढ़ में, बहुत सब जगह है, और भी इंडिया में काफ़ी जगह हैं, मिडिल ईस्ट में काफ़ी जगह है। नाउ वी हैव स्टार्टेड पॉपुलेटिंग नॉर्थ अमेरिका।
आपने कॉमर्शियली किचन में जाके खाना आखिरी बार कब बनाया रेस्टोरेंट के लिए?
अभी कुछ घंटे पहले अभी बना के आ रहा हूँ, इग्नाइट कॉलेज के अंदर अभी बना के आ रहा हूँ। तो खाना बनाना तो कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं कब बनाऊँ। और
I was going to ask a related question which a lot of people say, that when you send that food out to customers, and so what kind of feedback they give it to you? So we are more keen to know that when was the last time when you have commercially cooked in a restaurant, the food was sent out?
very common. मतलब मैं बहुत, as I said, बहुत सारे restaurants हमारे हैं, and I visit them. So we have a commercial kitchen जो हमारे मुंबई में, we do all the trials to new creation, everything is done in our kitchen, and there is no place more comfortable than kitchen to me. So there I feel myself, right? तो ये कब नहीं, रोज़ ही बनाता हूँ।
रोज़ ही बनाता है, चलिए ठीक है। अब एक सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन जो हमारे यहाँ फेलो कीवी इंडियंस हैं उनके लिए होगा, एज यू वुड नो दैट लाइफ फॉर लॉट ऑफ माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स anywhere in the world, including here, it's getting busier and busier and busier. People, they are not getting to cook a lot. So if I may ask you, any 2-minute recipe that you would, or any food followed with a 2-minute recipe that people they can quickly cook and while they're on the go.
Sure. So मेरा इसमें सब कहना यही है कि जब आपके पास में टाइम नहीं है, टाइम तो उतना ही है, आपकी इनएफिशिएंसी थी। आपको अपने आप को एफिशिएंट बनाना है। आपको एफिशिएंट कैसे बना सकते हैं? खाने से लेकर प्लानिंग करके। सो प्लानिंग में क्या होता है? प्लानिंग में एक हफ्ते का मेन्यू बना लें सारा,
ओके,
पहले से।
अच्छा।
अभी भी हमारे लोग सब क्या कर रहे होते हैं कि अब क्या खाना है, आज शाम को क्या खाना है, उससे 1 घंटा पहले सोच रहे होते हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल,
Right?
ये हमारा एक काम होता है शाम को।
हाँ, कि आज क्या खाएं,
आज क्या खाएंगे,
आज क्या खाने की जगह 1 हफ्ते में क्या खाना है वो खाने का प्लान बनाने, लिख के रख लें।
राइट,
पूरा फैमिली में साथ में बैठ के वो बना लें, लिख के रख लें, फ्रिज पे लगा के बना लिया। वंस यू डू दैट, व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि अब आपको पता चल गया कि क्या खाना है, उसके हिसाब से आप सोर्सिंग, उसके हिसाब से आप बाइंग कर सकते हैं, उसके हिसाब से आप प्रिपरेशन इन एडवांस कर सकते हैं
जी।
अगर आपने ये सीखना शुरू कर दिया ना, तो रेसिपी तो बहुत सारी, एक रेसिपी नहीं, हज़ारों रेसिपीज़। हमारा 24 घंटे का टीवी चैनल है फूड, सो उसकी वेबसाइट भी है foodfood.com। संजीव कपूर यूट्यूब चैनल है, फेसबुक है, इंस्टाग्राम है। सो व्हाई वन रेसिपी, हज़ारों रेसिपीज़ यू कैन सी लाइक दिस, बट स्टार्ट ऑर्गेनाइजिंग योर लाइफ कि क्या खाना है। थोड़ा सा 10 मिनट 1 हफ्ते में दे दो
जी,
and it'll become much easier for you.
right. Okay. Well, I think people would have loved to hear anything specifically from you. And if I ask you the last question, संजीव कपूर को सबसे ज़्यादा खाने की टेबल पे क्या पसंद है?
मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा कंपनी पसंद होती है, किसके साथ खाना खा रहा हूँ।
Great. Quite well said. I think that's quite diplomatic that you are quite ready to get into politics as well at some stage.
देखो, पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में अभी न्यूजीलैंड में बात करने का माहौल नहीं है।
बिल्कुल
ठीक है, तो हाँ, बट जिस दिन मैं चाहूँगा उस दिन मैं कर सकता हूँ, ये भी फैक्ट है।
बिल्कुल।
मुझे काफ़ी बार ऑफर हुआ है कि आप इलेक्शन में लड़ लें। 2014 आई वाज आस्क्ड कि आप कहीं से भी लड़ना चाहें आप लड़ सकते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
सो आई वाज ऑफर्ड टिकट फॉर दैट, आई सेड नो। तो जब मुझे करना होगा मैं कर लूँगा और जीतूंगा भी।
बिल्कुल। अरे लोग आपसे इतना प्यार करते हैं, क्यों नहीं जीतेंगे आप। चलिए संजीव जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर बीइंग हियर एंड शेयरिंग so much of love, I would say, around food, and probably that is the most important takeaway from this conversation, which you have reiterated quite nicely.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New Zealand. Thanks for letting us know that you have stayed here, lived here for 2 years.
नहीं, lived नहीं, मतलब जब लोग मुझे न्यूजीलैंड में जो बंजी जंपिंग है वो न्यूजीलैंड से शुरू हुई थी
जी।
एजे हैकेट ने शुरू करी थी यहाँ पे क्वींस टाउन के बाहर। तो जब मैं यहाँ रहता था तभी शुरू हुई थी। सो आई वेंट देयर, तो तब बंजी जंपिंग की मैंने, एंड एजे खड़े होके वो सबको जंप तब करवाता था। तो माई डॉटर्स दे डोंट बिलीव कि मैंने बंजी जंपिंग करी होगी। तो आई थिंक ये जो एडवेंचर है न्यूजीलैंड का, दैट्स वर्ल्ड नोन। I think it's time that New Zealand is also known for its adventure with food, and maybe the chefs from India take the lead in that.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And we will speak again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.